Okay, hello and welcome to a shading tutorial. Today we're going to look at how to shade our little main character's hair. As you can see, I've already started over here, and I'm just gonna do the left side of it and kind of explain the steps I'm taking and yeah, just kind of walk you through my process. I'll just quickly explain what's going on over here. Let me make a new layer. So as you can see, I set the highlights here on the edges of his hair, so to say. So I'm not just coloring it in. I'm looking at this as one big strand of hair, like it's a unit and it should make sense as a whole. And as you can see with my style, I'm not drawing every every piece of hair separately, but I'm trying to create the effect that, it's a mass of hair. Maybe an elegant way to put it would be a constant duet of highlights and the darker parts in between. So what I have is my own brush that I made for this not for this drawing, but I've made it because I didn't really like any of the other Procreate brushes, and what I did, I just took the 6B pencil brush and modified it a little bit. So now it's a live brush almost, so it kind of, maybe I can show you. When I tilt the pencil, it gets broader and you can shade, you can create gradients. But as you can see, you can also really blend it together with what you've drawn underneath pretty well. And when you make strokes, you can see that it kind of drags the color from where you start into the... No, it imitates a wet brush. You can see the lighter I press. So yeah, that's kind of how it works. It blends everything together well, and I really like it. And for the effect we're trying to create, it works very well. So let's start. So again, I'm trying to create the effect that there's a surrounding light source. So, okay, so what I'm doing here, I have these separate strands of hair here, and I'm just starting with whatever, and I'm creating this kind of gap here where the light is reflected on his hair. And then I'm just kind of dragging it up, and as you can see, I'm pressing harder and creating darker areas where I want there to be like another strand of hair. So I'm not just coloring it all in to say regularly or evenly. My God. Okay. Yeah, I'm not coloring it in evenly, but I'm creating darker spaces where I want there to be like a distinction between the strands, and it just creates more depth and dimension in the hair. Again, I'm leaving out some white space on the edges, and here you can see I purposefully left a white area here. So the strands are still distinct from one another. There. Okay, so hopefully you get the idea. The important part is that you always have a nice dynamic going on between the light and the dark parts, so that it looks flowy and natural and dynamic. Okay, let's go on. Basically, it's the same thing with the downwards flowing hair, not sideways. But here I would create like a reflective area in the middle of it, so you don't have to shade like everything from top to bottom. And it also creates interest and a resting point for the eyes. So here, but also remember to make lighter strands and darker strands so that there's still depth and interest. I like to point out that this reflective area should always be on the same height, like don't shift it around too much. It can be a good effect if you shift it around, like if, for example, in wild hair, I think I'm going to do this with Huocheng number 1. That like glow point is going to be here and here and here, down here maybe. I'll have to figure it out, maybe. But I think with neat straight hair like he has it, it's better if you let the reflective areas be on the same height, like this. But of course, hair intertwines with each other, and there are strands that are hidden from the light that aren't as reflective, so keep that in mind. And this outermost strand, I'm also keeping white to kind of uphold this effect of there being a surrounding light and kind of illuminating the hair from all around, kind of creating a halo around himself. Okay, so here it's a little bit difficult because here on the left side, the strands were pretty, parallel and clear. They weren't so intertwined, but over here, I kind of almost made them triangular, like falling into each other. So it's not as suited to create a highlight in the hair on the same height because there will be lines there and shadows. So, but this is fine too. So, okay, I'm quickly going to explain what I'm doing here. What you can see I did here is I created like little glow almost like from behind his bangs curving upwards, and that is just to let the bangs pop out more, so that they're more in the foreground, and to kind of signify that the hair in the background is just of secondary value or of secondary importance. There. I think people will get the message, hopefully. Less contrast is the keyword. Okay, so the hair is almost complete. I'm gonna stop this tutorial at 30 minutes. We're in 24. And in that time I can definitely still shade his little bun. Oh my god. It's a bunny rabbit. Okay. Sorry. Same thing here. I'm creating highlights. Because his bun is round, right? So if you look at like a metallic orb or anything like a reflective kind of orb, there are highlights all around, but also dark areas. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, it's not bad, but it's too uniform for me. The shadows are the same value everywhere, and so are the highlights. So I'm gonna increase the highlights in the middle, because imagine there is a spotlight shining on it from above. Obviously, it would be the brightest where the spotlight would hit the most directly, so that's in the middle. And then it should get darker towards the end, the outer edge of the bun. And also the shadows. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, you should always zoom out. Like, never get too caught up on the details. Like I said, always try to look at the whole picture and look that it's balanced, that it doesn't take away from anything. And I'm always considering kind of shading over these highlights because it's too contrasty. And I think for now I'm happy with the hair, and I'm going to end this tutorial now. See ya guys later. Bye bye.